Good afternoon, everyone. We are the Group 4. We are here to report the Topic 5, Business Level Strategy to how to compete for advantage. When it comes in differentiation, cost, leadership, and integration. So, ano nga ba ang business level strategy? Business strategy details the goal-directed actions managers take in their quest for competitive advantage when competing in a single product market. So, ang business strategy ay isang action or decision ng company or managers to reach its business goals and be competitive in its industry. Sa madaling salita guys, kaya lang naman nagkakaroon ng business strategy dahil sa pakikipag-compete natin sa mga nakapaligid sa ating business, lalo na kung kapareho mo to ng produkto. Siyempre katulad na lang ng kunyari milk tea. Siyempre gagawa ka ngayon ng strategy kung paano mo maibebenta ng maayos at kung paano ka kikita. Kung paano mo mahihigitan yung mga kakompetensya mo. Siyempre gagawa ka ng paraan kung paano mo sila maaangatan. For example of strategy na pwede nating gawin is titingin tayo sa price of the product of the other business. Kunyari sa milk tea sa kabila, mas mahal. Siyempre dahil bago ka pa lang sa industry, hindi mo tataasan yung produkto mo, lalo na't di ka pa kilala. And also the packaging of your product, kailangan mas bobonggahan mo yung yung packaging mo sa produkto mo. Parang nang sa ganun ma-attract yung mga customers mo. Kunyari sa milk tea, syempre 'di ba may mga strategy sila para hindi maboring yung customer nila habang nag-aantay ng product. Naisip nila na nabigyan ng libangan. Kunyari yung 'di ba may games sa sa may milk tea yan. Ayun, yung parang ganun, naisip nila yung strategy na yun para hindi ma-bored yung customer nila habang nag-aantay. Yun. So, let's proceed to next bullet. To formulate an appropriate business level strategy, managers must answer the who, what, why, and how question of competition. Sa who, which customer segments will we serve? So, kailangan nating alamin kung sino nga ba yung seserba natin ng ating product. Siyempre, isipin mo kung pwede ba sa bata, pwede sa matanda. Ngayon, gagawa ka ng paraan na katulad na lang sa milk tea, 'di ba? Sa sugar level, maraming hindi pwede sa matatamis sobra. Kaya 'yun, gumawa sila ng strategy na pwede i-adjust yung sugar level. Sa what questions naman, ayun, what customer needs, wishes, and desires will we satisfy? Ayun nga, kailangan na, ano pa ba yung hinahanap ng customer natin bukod sa product natin? Kailangan nating ma-meet yung expectation ng customers natin. For example, sa mobile phone, may mga pa-previous sila, mga pagka bumili ka ng product nila, may libreng earphone, power bank, or kahit ano pang pwedeng gawin nila para yung expectation ng customer nila makuha nila. Then sa why naman, why do we want to satisfy them? So, bakit nga ba kailangan natin na masatisfy yung customer natin. Doon papasok yung how. Kung paano natin masasatisfy yung customer natin. Ayun, parang ano nga, syempre, alam mo dapat kung paano mo masasatisfy yung customer mo para hindi lang ngayon sila, hindi ka lang ngayon nila tangkilikin. Pwede ka nilang balik-balikan. Sa madaling pagpapaliwanag guys, para sa akin ang business strategy is it depends sa managers or sa company kung anong strategy yung gagawin nila para dumami yung kanilang buyers and customers and to be fame in the market para lumago yung business nila at magkaroon sila ng competitive advantage sa isang market. So guys nga pala, pag sinabi nating competitive advantage, it refers to factors that allow a company to produce goods or services better or more cheaply than its rivals. Parang pag sinabing mas yung business mo ay competitive advantage, ito yung product mo is mas better sa lahat ng mga nakapaligid sa'yo, sa lahat ng mga kalaban mo. Sa mga kompetensya mo, mas better yung quality, yung packaging, and at the same time, mas kilala yung product mo or business nyo sa isang market. Kunwari sa buong Montalban, maraming nagtitinda ng milk tea. Pero sa mindset ng mga customers or sa mga tao sa Montalban ay mas kilala ka nila. Ay, doon na lang tayo bumili. Mas affordable doon and good quality. Parang ganun ba yung competitive advantage. So, let's move on to my next bullet. Gising pa ba kayo, guys? Okay, next na. To formulate an effective business strategy, managers need to keep in mind that competitive advantage is determined jointly by industry and firm effects. And makikita nyo dyan yung table na mababasa nyo yung industry effects and firm effects. So, i-discuss ko muna kung ano nga ba ang pagkakaiba ng industry and firms. Ang firm is a single entity who sold product and services. Ang industry naman is consists of several different firms selling similar product. Or industry is a type of productive manufacturer. Para bang yung industry is binubuo siya ng mga firms. Kasi sinabi dito na ang industries is a group of companies. Yung mga pangangailangan ng firm ay pinoprovide ng industry. Parang ganun lang yung pagkakaintindi ko. Ang industry effects, kanina po kasi firm and industry. Ito naman po ang industry effects and firm effects. Ang industry effects naman is results attributed to choice of industry to compete in. Ang firm effects naman is results of managers' actions to influence firm performance. Parang sa firm effects, it depends to the managers kung ano yung gagamitin nilang strategy to achieve the competitive advantage. Kung mababasa nyo po sa bullet, ayan po, di ba? Managers need to keep in mind that competitive advantage. Parang kasing pagka yung isang business mo ay walang competitive advantage or hindi siya mas better sa iba. Parang yung ginawang business strategy mo is useless. Parang hindi nag-work yung ginamit nilang strategy. Diyan sa table, pinapakita dyan yung mga dapat gawin or some techniques to achieve the competitive advantage na madidiscuss mamaya ng mga kagrupo ko. So, dito naman sa strategic position, basahin ko na lang yung ibang bullets. And I can briefly explain na lang kung ano yung strategic position. Strategic position, a firm's business level strategy determines its strategic position, its strategic profile, based on value creation and cost in a specific product market a firm attempts to stake. So, pag sinabing strategic position, it is the choice of company about the kind of value it will create and how that value will be created differently than rivals. So, strategic position, ano ba? Yung iniisip ng mga kumpanya or managers dito kung paano ba magiging kakaiba yung product nila sa kanilang mga kakompetensya. For example, sa mga benefits ng product, kung ano ba makukuha na benefits doon, kailangan mas maganda yung mabibigay mong benefits sa customers mo. Sa product price, kailangan syempre mas mas affordable. Mas affordable yung product mo. Hindi man mas affordable, mas maganda yung quality. Ganun lang naman yung strategic position. Isipin mo lang kung paano magiging mas kakaiba yung product mo sa kapareho mong product. Gets nyo? Kunyari, pares kayo ng product na na binibenta. Siyempre, iisip ka ng paraan. Ano bang pwedeng gawin para mas kakaiba yung sa akin? Para mas kakaiba yung product ko? Ayun yung tinatawag na strategic position.
Good afternoon everyone. Today I'm going to discuss my report. So we have here strategic trade-offs. So strategic trade-offs is a choices between a cost or value position. Such choices are necessary because higher value tends to require in a higher cost. So managers must address the tension between value creation and the pressure to keep costs in check so as not to erode the firm's economic value creation and profit margin. A business strategy is more likely to lead to a competitive advantage if it allows firms to either perform similar activities differently or perform different activities than their rivals that result in creating more value or offering similar products or services at lower cost. So, as an example, some of the strategic trade-offs the brand embraces include inability to service consumers who prefer a wider product assortment and a more premium shopping experience. Inability to service consumers who prefer to shop at the smaller local retail store. So next, we have the generic business strategies. So there are two fundamental different generic business strategies. We have differentiation and cost leadership. So differentiation strategy, it is a business strategy that seeks to create higher value for customers than the value that competitors create by delivering products or services with unique features while keeping the firm's cost structure at the same or similar levels. And then next, we have the cost leadership strategy. So this is a generic business strategy that seeks to create the same or similar value for customers by delivering products or services at a lower cost than competitors, enabling the firm to offer lower prices to its customer. So these two strategies are called generic strategies because they can be used by any organization manufacturing or service large or small, for profit or non-profit, public or private, US or non-US. In the quest for competitive advantage, independent of industry context, differentiation, and cost leadership required distinct strategic positions in order to increase a firm's chances to gain and sustain a competitive advantage. Because value creation and cost tend to be positively correlated, there exist important trade-offs between value creation and low cost. So, different generic strategies can lead to competitive advantage even in the same industry. For example, Rolex and Timex both compete in market for watches, yet they follow different business strategy. So it creates a higher value for its watches by making higher quality timepiece with unique features that last a lifetime and that bestow a perception of prestige and status. It's upon their owners. So customers are willing to pay a step premium for these attributes. Timex, in contrast, follow a cost leadership strategy. It uses lower cost inputs and efficiently produces a watch of acceptable quality, highlights reliability and accuracy, and prices its timepiece at low end of the market. So the issue is not to compare Rolex as Timex directly. They compete in different market segments of the watch industry. Both can achieve a competitive advantage using diametrically opposed business strategies. So this is because both have clear strategic profile. Rather, the idea is to compare Rolex strategic position with the next best differentiation. So next we have the scope of competition. So scope of competition is the size, narrow or broad of the market in which a firm chooses to compete. So when considering different business strategies, managers also must define the scope of competition, whether to pursue a specific narrow part of the market or go to after the broader market. In the preceding example, Rolex focuses on a small market segment, affluent consumers who want to present a certain image. Timex offers watches for many different segments of the mass market. Next, we have the focus cost leadership strategy. So, it is the same as the cost leadership strategy except with a narrow focus on a niche market. So focus cost leadership strategy, it is a focus requires a competing based on price to target a narrow market. It is a firm that follows this strategy does not necessarily charge the lower prices in the industry. Instead, it charges low prices relative to other firms that compete within the target market. So, as an example of focus cost leadership strategy, we have the McDonald's. So, McDonald's has been extremely successful with this strategy by offering basic fast food meals at low prices. So, they are able to keep prices low through a division of labor to keep price and allows it to hire and train inexperienced employees rather than train their cooks.
Now let us proceed to focus differentiation strategy. So what is a focus differentiation strategy? It is the second of two focus strategies, same as the differentiation strategy except with a narrow focus on a niche market. This means that a focused differentiation strategy requires offering unique features that fulfill the demands of a narrow market. Some firms using a focused differentiation strategy, concentrate their efforts on a particular sales channel, such as selling over the internet only. Others target particular demographic groups. One example is the Breezes Resorts, a company that caters to couples without children. The firms operates 7 tropical resorts where vacationers are guaranteed that they will not be annoyed by loud and disruptive children. While a differentiation strategy involves offering unique features that appeal to a variety of customers, the need to satisfy the desires of a narrow market means that the pursuit of uniqueness is often taken to the proverbial next level by firms using a focused differentiation strategy. Thus, the unique features provided by firms following a focused differentiation strategy are often specialized. Now we can combine the dimensions describing a firm's strategic position, which is the differentiation versus cost, with the scope of competition, or the narrow versus broad. As shown in Exhibit 6.2, by doing so we get the two major generic business strategies, the cost leadership and differentiation, shown in the top two boxes in the matrix, and what are termed the focused version of each, shown in the bottom two boxes in the matrix. The manufacturing company BIC pursues a focused cost leadership strategy, offering disposable pens and cigarette lighters at a very low price, which are often free promotional giveaways by companies. While Montblanc pursues a focused differentiation strategy, offering exquisite pens priced at several $100s. The automobile industry provides an example of the scope of competition. Alfred P. Sloan, longtime president and CEO of GM, defined the carmaker's mission as providing a car for every purse and purpose. GM was one of the first to implement a multi-divisional structure in order to separate the brands into strategic business units, allowing each brand to create its unique strategic position within the broad automotive market. For example, the current GM product lineup ranges from the low-cost positioned Chevy Spark starting at a price of $12,000 to the highly differentiated Cadillac Escalade SUV priced at $74,000. Tesla Motors, the maker of electric cars, featured in Chapter Case 3, offers a highly differentiated product and pursues only a small market segment. It uses a focused differentiation strategy. The Tesla focuses on environmentally conscious consumers that are willing to pay a premium price. It offered its sporty Roadster for a base price of $110,000. In 2012, Tesla launched the Model S, a four-door sedan starting at $62,000 after a $7,500 federal tax credit. The company plans to sell only 20,000 vehicles a year, 7 equal to less than 0.20% US market share of auto sales. Although Tesla Motors continues to broaden its product lineup with the new Model X and increase its scale, the company maintains its focused differentiation strategy. Now let's move on to differentiation strategy, understanding value drivers. So the goal of a generic differentiation strategy is to add unique features that will increase the perceived value goods and services in the mind of the consumers so they are willing to pay a higher price. Ideally, a firm following a differentiation strategy aims to achieve in the minds of consumers a level of value creation that its competitors cannot easily match. The focus of competition in a differentiation strategy tends to be on unique product features, services, and new product launches, or on marketing and promotion rather than price. For example, the company Interface is a leader in sustainability and offers innovative products such as its cool carpet, the world's first carbon neutral floor covering. Interface's customers reward it with a willingness to pay a higher price for its environmentally friendly products. So, a company that uses a differentiation strategy can achieve a competitive advantage as long as its economic value created is greater than that of its competitors. As you can see, panel A in Exhibit 6.3 shows that Firm B, a differentiator, achieves a competitive advantage over Firm A. Firm B not only offers greater value than Firm A but also achieves cost parity, meaning it has the same cost as Firm A. However, even if Firm B fails to achieve cost parity, which is often the case since higher value tends to go along with higher cost in terms of higher quality raw materials, research and development, employee training to provide superior customer service, and so on, it can still gain a competitive advantage if its economic value creation exceeds that of its competitors. So this situation is depicted in panel B of Exhibit 6.3. In both situations, Firm B's economic value creation is greater than that of Firm A. So Firm B therefore achieves a competitive advantage because it has a higher value gap, which allows it to charge a premium price reflecting its higher value creation. Although increased value creation is a defining feature of differentiation strategy, managers must also control costs. Rising costs reduce economic value created and erode profit margins. Indeed, if cost rises too much as the firm attempts to create more perceived value for customers, its value gap shrinks, negating any differentiation advantage. Now let's proceed to the value drivers. Managers can adjust a number of different levers to improve a firm's strategic position. These levers either increase perceived value or decrease cost. So the value drivers are product features, customer service, and complements. These value drivers are related to a firm's expertise in and organization of different internal value chain activities. Although these are the most important value drivers, no such list can be complete. Applying the concepts introduced in this chapter should allow managers to identify other important value and cost drivers unique to their business. When attempting to increase the perceived value of the firm's product or service offerings, managers must remember the different value drivers contribute to competitive advantage only if their increase in value creation exceeds the increase in cost. The condition of value creation greater than costs must be fulfilled if a differentiation strategy is to strengthen a firm's strategic position and thus enhance its competitive advantage. Next, product features. One of the obvious but most important levers that managers can adjust are the product features and the attributes, thereby increasing the perceived value of the product or service offering. Adding unique product features allows firms to turn commodity products into differentiated products commanding a premium price. Strong R&D capabilities are often needed to create superior product features. The luxury car maker BMW follows a differentiation strategy. It has a strong reputation for superior engineering built through decades of continued R&D investments. As a result, a BMW M3, a sports coupe, comes with many more performance features than regular sedans. The high performance capabilities of an M3 also come with a premium price. In the kitchen utensil industry, OXO also follows a differentiation strategy, highlighting product features by following its philosophy of making products that are easy to use for the widest spectrum of possible users. OXO differentiates its kitchen utensils through its patent protected, ergonomically designed soft block rubber grips.
Examples of product featured. The high performance capabilities of an M3 is also come with a premium price. The luxury of maker BMW follows a differentiation strategy, and it also has a strong reputation for superior engineering built through decades of continuous R&D investments. Strong R&D capabilities are often needed to create superior product feature. As a result, a BMW M3 sports coupe comes with many more performance features than regular sedans.
Hi po, good afternoon. Let we tackle about customer service. Customer service managers can increase the perceived value of their firm's products or service offerings by focusing on customer service and responsiveness. Means it is also the assistance and advice provided by a company to those people who buy or use its product or services. Examples of customer service. Example of it is the online retailer suppose earn a reputation for superior service by offering free shipping both ways to the customer and for return. 14 suppose managers did not view this as an additional expense but rather as part of their marketing budget. Moreover, suppose does not outsource its customer service and its associates do not use predetermined scripts. They are instead encouraged to build a relationship of trust with each individual customer. Next is compliments. Compliments add value to a product or service when they are consumed in tandem. Finding compliments, therefore, it is an important task for manager in their quest to enhance the value of the offerings. Means a thing that completes or brings to perfection. And one of the example of it is the introduction of ANTU burst is a recent example of managers leveraging compliments to increase perceived value of a service offering. 16 AT&T Uverse service bundles high-speed internet access, phones, and TV services. Service bundles can be further enhanced by DVR capabilities that allow users to pause live TV to record or to for live TV shows at once and to access video on demand. And then a DVR by itself is not very valuable but include as a free note. It's free and on subscribers. It turns into a complement that significantly enhances the perceived value of the service bundle. Next is cost leadership strategy. Tackle about understanding cost drivers. The goal of the cost leadership strategy is to reduce the firm's cost below that of its competitors while offering adequate value. Cost focuses its attention and resources on reducing the cost to manufacture a product or deliver service in order to offer low prices.
The next reporter is Michelle P. DELOS from BSBA 3C. So, what if frame B fails create differentiations? So, In both situations, in Exhibit 6.4, Frame B, economic value creation is greater than of Frame B. Frame B achieve is competitive advantage in both cases. Earlier than change price similar to each competitors and benefit from greater profit margin per unit, or it can change lower price than it competition against higher profit from higher value. Both variations of cost leadership strategy can result in competitive advantage. Next is Rainier. Rainier took up a page out of Southern Airlines playbook and copied much of its business strategy. REYES is purchased, however, an even more refined version in Europe. Mm. Headquartered in Dublin, Ireland, Ryanair calls itself the newest airline in the world because of the liter- relentless effort to drive down costs and other in order to offer rock bottom airfares. So next is uh, goal X cost leadership strategy is to decure the firm cost before that is competitors while offering adequate value. The cost leader is the name implies focusing attention and resourcing and reducing the cost of manufacturing the produce of deliver service in order to offer lower price to customer. The cost leadership optimizes all its value chain activities to achieve a low cost per mission. So, yan. The most important cost driving that manager can manipulate to keep their costs low are there are four. First is cost of input factors. Input cost of input factors is managers can manipulate it to keep costs low because manipulate. Pwede mo namang bawasan yung cost sa raw materials to make a product, like for example kung bumaba yung price ng raw materials na gamit mo na product. Sa labor naman makakapagdepende yung sahod ng isang tao. So, ayan. Cost and impact factor is one of the most basic advantage a firm can have. It reveals access to lower cost input factors such as raw materials, capital, labor, and aid service. So, greater market share may be a position to reap economic of scale deserve in cost per unit as output increase. This is relationship between unit cost and output and depicted in the first left hand part of Exhibit 0.5. Cost per unit false output in create up to point. So, yeah. Economics of scale. Firms with greater market share might be in position to reap economic of scale, described in cost per unit as output ingredients. So, economic of scale sa Ito yung kapag mababa yung cost of output tapos mataas yung output naman na achieve mo. Yun daw yung economic of scale by increasing product and same time lowers cost. Mangyayari to spread their fixed cost over ang largest output. Ibig sabihin yun yung gastos mo for product fix na hindi mababago pero yung output of production pataas o pataas pa. So, yun lamang po. Maraming salamat.
Diseconomies of scale. Firms experience diseconomies of scale, which is the increase in cost as output increases. As firms get too big, the complexity of managing and coordinating raises the cost, negating any benefits to scale. Large firms tend to become overly bureaucratic with too many layers of hierarchy. They grow inflexible and slow in decision making. To avoid problems associated with these economies of scale, Gore Associates, maker of Gore-Tex fabric, Glide dental floss, and many other innovative products, breaks up its company into smaller units. Managers at Gore Associates found that employing about 150 people per plant allows them to avoid these economies of scale. Gore's Benhan uses a simple rule. We put 150 parking spaces in the lot, and when people start parking on the grass, we know it's time to build a new plant.
My first topic is learning curve. Learning curve is a graphical representation of the relationship between how proficient someone is at a task and amount of experience they have. Based on these slides, according to documented aircraft manufacturing as the United States ramped up production in the 1930s prior to its entry into World War II, they used a learning curve to they used the learning curve para malaman nila kung mabenta ba ang kanilang produkto. And every time production was doubled, the per unit cost dropped by a predictable and constant rate. This is the example of learning curve. Competitive advantage through leveraging learning and experience curve effects. Next slide is, there are some important differences between economies of scale and learning effects. First one is learning effects occur over time as output is accumulated while economies of scale are captured at one point in time when output is increased. Second one is, in some production process, effects from economies of scale can be quite significant while learning effects are minimal. One is experience curve. What is experience curve? The concept of an experience curve attempts to capture both learning effects and process improvements. In this perspective, economies of learning allow movement down in a given learning curve based on current production technology by moving further down a given learning curve than competitors than competitors. A firm can gain a competitive advantage. Process innovation, a new method or technology to produce an existing product may initiate a new steeper learning curve. Another meaning of process innovation is the implementation of a new or significantly improved production or delivery method. This includes significant changes in techniques, equipment, and or software.